go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. I'm your host, the Commish here at Masters, joined by Dynasty Owl and the Doc, two of our draft coordinators, podcast specialists. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Doing great. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm doing
Good to
great.
hear, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're getting ready to jump into some week 5 wide receiver waiver wire pickups. Bye weeks are coming. It's getting close to that time of the season, man, where, these guys are even more important that are sitting on the waiver wire. Taking a look at wide receivers today. Kick it over to you guys. What wide receivers are you targeting on your waiver wire this week?
So for me, I'm going to start with a guy that I've talked about a lot in the past, and a guy we've talked about from a dynasty perspective quite a few times, and that's Jameson Crowder. I know this week was finally his first week back, COVID, injury, all that. Finally, he returns to the lineup, and he does not disappoint. 9 targets, 7 catches. He did get a touchdown as well. I think he finished with about 19 points. So a great first game of the season for Jameson Crowder, really just picking up where he left off a year ago as a guy that's just going to eat up targets. So it's clear that his role in the offense is going to stay the same. I know Elijah Moore didn't play this weekend, but I still think going forward, I'm not really worried about Elijah Moore this year. That's more a long-term thing. And I think Crowder is a guy you can pick up and rely on to get you a solid performance week in and week out in PPR formats. So, I mean, he's there. Most guys didn't even touch him just because of the everyone knew he wasn't going to start the season because of the COVID. And there was a lot of Elijah Moore hype as well. So I think finally, he's back. He's ready to go. He's available on your waiver wire, and it's probably a guy you're going to have to get this week. So that's a guy I'm going to go out and get right now. I mean, he's startable every week to me. He was last year, and he will be until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, Jameson Crowder is we thought he was.
Exactly.
Isn't he? I mean, it's kind of always the case with Crowder. Like,
right.
Guys on the waiver wire, gets no respect. Yet week after week, man, he puts up points in PPR leagues. Like, so
Yeah.
I think it's a great pickup. I mean, look, man, the Jets, expect them to be playing from like 3 touchdowns behind all
100%.
season. Garbage points count, though, man. So I think there's a ton of garbage points to be had for that guy.
Oh, for sure. And that offensive line is putrid. So Zach Wilson's going to have to make quick throws. Crowder's going to be that guy, that safety valve for him. So he's going to be a great add to me.
I like it. Dynasty Owl?
Yeah, so I like the Crowder one as well. I was actually super close to picking him up Sunday morning and throwing him in a starting lineup, but I didn't. Regretted it a little bit, but I survived. So is what it is. But yeah, love that you know what you're getting in Crowder. So my guy, definitely not on the waiver wire in dynasty leagues, and definitely not out there if your redraft leagues has IR spots, but a lot of redraft leagues don't, and that's Curtis Samuel. This is a guy who last year had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. We know he gets a lot of carries, and then obviously he's a receiver as well. Signs with Washington. We are all super excited. I mean, he was getting drafted right around the 100th player off the board in a lot of drafts this summer. Gets hurt during camp and stuff. People just start dropping him and redrafted. And some of the later redraft drafts wasn't even drafted. And this was his first week back, coming back from that groin injury. Only played about a third of the snaps, had 4 targets, 4 catches, nothing major, but just good to see he got on the field, no major setbacks. And this is a guy who I think they signed him to be a big piece of that offense. I think he's going to cut into McKissick's role a little bit. McLaurin's targets should hopefully come down. I mean, not hopefully come down, but probably come down a little bit as well. Yeah, I don't have McLaurin, so I hope they come down. But yeah, I think they had a role for Curtis Samuel in mind. I think this past week was just getting his feet wet, making sure he was healthy, and I think he is. So going forward, I think Curtis Samuel, this is the time to get him. I think he could be like a legit wide receiver too for your fantasy team. Definitely flex worthy, I think, going forward. So yeah, I'm all for Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I'm with you. And he was a guy I was big on coming into the season. Obviously, the injuries derailed that. But I actually think McLaurin, being as dominant as he is, helps too.
True, yeah.
He slides in as the perfect number 2 for me. I really like him, man. He's a guy I actually didn't cut. but I know a lot of guys did. But I mean, I like him so much, I held on to him through the injury. So
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Kind of see where I'm at. And as you were speaking, it kind of made me think of Jerry Jeudy, too, who I'm sure most teams are holding on to. Just going to throw it out there, though. I do think as the bye weeks start to hit, as some teams start to, rack up some losses, keep an eye out, man, if anybody decides to start dropping Jeudy. I think he'd be another guy you'd be able to pick up. All right, I like it, and I'm going to move on to mine. I actually can't even believe I'm recommending this. Someone had told me the other day we were talking about him, and I'm going to use like the old term. I'm sure you guys have heard it, like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me like 9 times. I don't even know what that is. Here I am still recommending this guy, man, Josh Gordon. And here's the funny thing about Gordon too, because like every time he's moved and went to a different team since he left Cleveland, I'm like, I mean, the situation couldn't get any better. He's with Tom Brady. The situation couldn't get any better. He's with Russell Wilson. Guess what, man? Somehow the situation got better, man. And he's in Kansas City. Look, I'd only put $1 or $2 on him in blind bidding if you got a spot, at the end of your bench. But man, him going to Kansas City has me a little bit intrigued. I'm hearing some of the things they're saying about him, which I kind of want to tell these guys to pump their brakes a little bit too. I think it was Tyrone Matthew said he reminded him of Calvin Johnson. I know, right? I mean, but size, I mean, I don't know if I'm just tripping, but in that Kansas City offense, I kind of want a piece of him, man. I mean, I at least want to stash him for a week or two and see if they're going to use him, how involved he's going to be in that offense. I know this, man. When Patrick Mahomes drops back, defenses are already scrambling, trying any way they can to slow down Tyreek Hill, stay in front of Kelsey, and they can't do it. So I do feel like, man, if this guy's got anything left in the tank on that big play offense, I don't know if he'll be a guy that you can start every single week, but I do think he's going to have some big weeks if they're going to slot. Look, nobody's been able to take that number 2 role. Nobody.
Yep.
Slide in there and take that. I mean, as a big play wide receiver, I'm saying pick up Josh Gordon, man. I think he's worth it and hold on to him for a week. You guys think I'm crazy?
No, I actually, I'm right in line with your logic here. I think, I mean, everybody in that, it's almost like they told everybody in the Chiefs building to say something nice about Josh Gordon. It's ridiculous. And as much as I want to say, it's the same old. I mean, he had plenty of opportunities, and every time it's just been a disappointment. I mean, I'm curious too, because again, it is the Chiefs offense. Their defense is horrible. So they're going to be slinging it every single game, which I mean, they probably would have done anyways, whether their defense was good or not. But I mean, Mecole, whoever, I mean, it doesn't matter who else they have. They haven't been able to separate themselves as the two. So, I mean, it's like you said, the door's open. I'm curious because if he looks even remotely decent, I mean, I instantly like him way more than Mecole or anyone else on that roster besides Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So, you know what? Yeah, might as well take a flyer on him.
Right. And I just want to add this too. We were talking about Damian Williams and how much he's going to cost you this week. Well, this will be the only week you'll be able to get Josh Gordon cheap if he goes out and does anything in that Kansas City offense. Let him have 4 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown, or just look like he's going to take over that number 2 spot and then go try to bid on him. I guarantee he'll take every single dollar that you have. I just want to add this up. I just want to add this to the equation too. Kansas City, a team that's gotten away the last couple of years with no major injuries. Tyreek Hill's out there, Kelsey's out there. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, if all of a sudden Tyreek Hill had to miss a couple weeks, or Kelsey had to miss. I mean, all of a sudden, like, how much value are you putting on the number 2 wide receiver? And I know, because I feel like I said it the last time, and I'll say this. To me, Josh Gordon, and this is why I've been said I was done with him. I don't even know why I'm recommending this, but at Masters over the last 10 years, Josh Gordon, the most traded, the most dropped, the most cut, whatever you want to insert, Josh Gordon leads them all in that category. And I expect him to be picked up everywhere and start seeing trades again, which I can't believe. But
crazy.
Yeah. And then the last
but
guy
I agree.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying I love it. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw out one last dynasty take wide receiver, Cadarius Tony this weekend. Got out there on the field, got some, with Sterling Shepard's injury. You could see why they drafted him in the first round. He's pretty electric, man. I think he's a guy that, over the past couple weeks, I drafted him a few times too. And when I was like submitting my line, I was just overlooking him. Pretty much. I wasn't feeling too good about him. I wasn't going to cut him or anything, but I do think that I just think he's a guy with a ton of potential, not a lot of value behind his name right now, a guy that you could probably get. He's just a guy I got my eye on. I think in dynasty leagues, not so much in redraft. I think I'd put some feelers out, maybe a second round pick. Just a guy I definitely got my eye on.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. When on our quarterback show, I actually talked about Danny Dimes, and one of the reasons was Cadarius Tony. Just seeing him come along when Sterling Shepard comes back, Kenny G on the outside, Saquon, Evan Ingram, the weapons are plentiful in that Giants offense. So yeah, and Cadarius Tony, a big part of it. They drafted him in the first round. We did plenty of rookie spotlights on him. Right. We love the profile, super electric, the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
lots to like.
And a lot of mouths to feed there. He's a guy that I think, it could be a couple years before he reaches his full potential in that offense. But I do think, we got a little glimpse that he can play in the NFL. So he's a guy that if I'm on a rebuilding team, I got an extra roster spot, I'm gonna go ahead and offer that second round pick and sit on Cadarius Tony.
100%, absolutely.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this edition. Wide receiver targets we're going for this week for week 5. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, love to have you come be a part of the Masters family. That's all we got, guys.